do a gig like, you know, like Croatia, 99% of the time you're spending with people, it's not playing.
Yes.
It's sitting next to each other on the bus. It's sitting next to each other on the plane. I think it's a feeling of like, once you put something out there, like in my case, it was the first book, it's almost like, it's like the shackles are gone. I just wanted the earth to swallow me up. But then you get to a point where you're like, it's fine. Like, I'm trying to get something from you. You don't want to give it. Cool. Okay, let me move on.
Yeah, like it's okay.
The rejection means nothing.
Just to introduce the band real quick. We got Nate Holder on sax. Give it up for Nate Holder on sax.
I'm aware of what it is. I've done this a couple times. Like,
this isn't our first rodeo.
I don't turn up to places knowing I'm supposed to start 8:30. Just
Yeah. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Anyway. And on that note,
are we rolling already?
We are rolling.
You got to edit that out.
They'll know everything. Oh, brother, I appreciate you sitting down with me, man. Appreciate it.
Where are we looking?
We're just chatting. We're just chatting. We'll
right.
look anywhere. If you feel a little moment, by all means. But it's a conversation. And I'll tell you what's really interesting. Musicians coming into the game, you wanna do your thing full time. If you're a saxophonist, if you're a guitarist, you're a singer, I wanna be singing on stage every day. Like, that's how I make my money, singing, performing. How I make my money, playing the sax constantly. And then when you get into the game, you're like, actually, I need to do a little bit more. And you're one person I wanted to speak to because you have literally done that. You're probably one of the main people I know who have diversified in a multitude of ways. So I guess just the first question I want to ask you is, why did you diversify?
I think that's how my brain's just wired. Like, and to be fair, it's about diversifying. It's like there's so many different things, but in many ways, it's all geared towards the same. Like the principle is all the same.
Yes.
Realistically, like when you kind of break it all down. So diversifying really is just about lots of interests, lots of ideas, and then just bit by bit, just executing on them. When I say executing, there's lots of failures, isn't it? Trying stuff that no one's ever going to know. I tried this, tried that, did that, went here, tried to build this relationship here, didn't work, until eventually something just like stuck, and it's like, all right, maybe there's something there. You know what I mean? Yeah, there's a lot of trial and error.
A lot of trial and error.
Still is a lot of trial and error.
So what does it mean to have a successful side hustle or a successful, let's say, diversification of your skills? When you're able to say, all right, I can add this to what I do, and now I see myself not only as a saxophonist, but now also an author, also a public speaker. Like at what point do you say this is success and we can include this?
I don't know. I think success moves all the time because life hasn't been static. Like the last 10 years, so much has happened. You know what I mean? So much has happened. Like 10 years ago, I just moved back to England. So it was like, it felt like starting from scratch. You know what I mean? And then, just from getting married to having kids, it's like, what success means for me is different to what success means for my family. You know what I mean? What I need to be successful in for my family is totally different now. Yeah. Like, and it feels totally different. So even, success before might have been, you're playing 7 days a week. Success now is like, I can play 3 days a week and spend the rest of my family.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. Exactly.
Because it can't work how I would want it to work if that's the mentality. It's just, no, I'm just a saxophonist and I play it and that's all I do. And if I don't do that, then, for me, it can't work. No. Especially with all of those other commitments and stuff. So responsibilities.
Let's talk about that for a little bit. You're putting energy into playing, obviously. You're also putting energy into writing. You've got to find time to do that. You're putting energy into preparing lesson plans because you're teaching. You're putting energy into preparing talks because you're giving talks, conferences. You're putting energy into being a father, into being a husband. Do you know what I mean? Into being a friend, into being a part of multiple bands.
Yeah.
How do you manage your energy where that's concerned? And is there, I'm just going to assume for you that family obviously comes first. How do you manage the rest of it? What is the right hierarchy of, you know, energy and effort that I give to each of those brackets?
Gosh, all these things are so relative because, like you said, obviously family comes first. I can say that, but obviously family is not just what I think it should be. There's also a wife who's there, who's got her ideas of what it should be.
Yep.
And then you've got the kids who, at different points in their lives, got different needs. So, you know, it's a constant evolution of what I need to do for them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's a constant evolution of what I need to do for writing, for speaking, because it's funny even with the speaking, I realized that like there's certain people I used to like watch a lot and still do sometimes watch a lot of lectures, you know, with certain people. I was like, at some point, I'm pretty sure I watched every single thing on YouTube that Malcolm Gladwell had ever done. Like honest to God, like watched every single thing and some of his things multiple times, just watching just how he talks, not even really to study what he does, but it was just the stories and how he weaves this and blah, 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 and just reading all that kind of stuff. I really had like a big thing for him for a while. And one thing I realized it took a while to realize it, but when I started doing stuff, I realized actually with certain people, like they might be on one book for like 10 years and just speaking about that same book or some content in the book for 10 years. And so the content of what they're talking about from, if they're talking in Australia or they're talking in Argentina, the content doesn't change that much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it took a while doing the speaking and stuff to realize actually, I don't have to write a whole new thing from scratch every single time. My presentation doesn't have to be different every single time because, you know, I do one presentation here, someone over there hasn't heard it. So
yeah,
sometimes it does. I do change it up because things happen in life and I do want to, you know, stay relevant as well.
Yeah.
Not in terms of getting people to book me for the relevancy, but just, you know, my thoughts and you know, philosophies or whatever are always dictated by what's happening in today's world.
Yes.
And can we draw parallels? What can we learn from? How can we adapt? Because this has happened now, you know what I mean? So it's a constant evolution, constantly. But then also realizing I might have spent a week writing a keynote before, whereas now it's like I might take a couple of days because I know the material that I can use. I know if I'm talking about this subject, I already know, like, yeah, I'm going to pull from that source.
Yeah.
You know, I know my format for my presentations is like, I know what it is now. So it's dragging and dropping and replacing stuff rather than building a whole PowerPoint from scratch. So it's just being way more efficient and just realizing like, yeah, you don't have to be new and innovative every single time you do something. You know what I mean? It's like Stevie, you know, like it's like Stevie doing a new set every single gig. It's like, no, I want to hear you talk about this thing because it really resonated with me. I want to hear you do these songs because that's what I'm coming to see.
Yeah.
The new stuff, yeah, great, and I might enjoy it, but you know what I mean? It's trying to use that analogy. But,
of course,
yeah.
of course. Which is why people go to see the same artist perform the same album.
Exactly.
You know, I know the songs, I know them inside out, but you're never going to play the same twice. Never going to capture that moment. When was your first speaking engagement and how did it come about?
The first one.
First significant speaking. Oh no, we'll go with the first. Just the first one. And how did that come about?
The first was, it was probably in 2020, to be fair. There might have been something before, like I did a couple of bits actually when I did my first book. There was a couple of things here and there that I did, but yeah, it might have been 2020. If not, it was just before, like no, lies. It was 2019.
We only want the truth here, brother.
2019.
We only want the truth. 2019.
October 2019.
Okay. Where was it? Where did you speak?
Manchester, at Old Trafford.
Oh, Old Trafford. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, as an
Not
Arsenal fan, sure.
It was wild for
It was
me,
a gig,
bro.
I guess.
For me, it was crazy.
I'm sure.
It was crazy.
It's incredible, brother. That's incredible.
Yeah, it was an expo. It was a music and drama expo.
Okay.
And how did it come about? I applied to speak. That's how it came about. It wasn't anything. It was
not
just
rocket science.
It was just like, yeah, I was applying. I'm gonna try and speak, and they accepted it. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I took the coach. I jumped on the coach from Victoria all the way up to Manchester.
Amazing.
Stayed overnight and then did my thing in the morning. Yeah. And it's on YouTube actually.
Okay.
I recorded it and put it on YouTube.
Oh, good. We'll put a link to it in the description
I
or down
don't
the
know,
bottom of the
man.
video. You shouldn't have mentioned it. Leave a comment.
I
Let
would
us
do
know
it.
what you think of the video.
Yeah. Like, share, subscribe.
Yeah, exactly. But that's fantastic. The first is, I love that. So you just applied and it happened.
Yeah.
Essentially, you put yourself out there and it worked. It's sometimes it's literally as simple as that.
Oh my God, yeah. Especially now, you got to do that.
But what predates the speaking engagements are the books, I imagine.
I think I had my first book out then, yeah.
How? So, why writing?
Ooh. I think writing's always just been a way of like, I think it's just been catharsis for me, really, man. Like, I started, so all the secrets. I started a diary when I was 2003.
Okay.
I don't write it as much as now as I used to, but I mean, you know, I still write it.
Yeah.
So that's 2003. So that's what, 22 years? Yeah.
22 years of timeless recording. Yeah.
22 years. And I think probably from then, it was just a thing of I just sitting and writing my diary. Just stuff is, sometimes it was, oh, we went here, we did this, or, you know, sometimes it's relationship stuff, I'm just like, you know, just, oh, I can't believe this happened.
Yeah.
You know, whatever it was, or just angry or whatever, but just like putting my thoughts down. And this is the first time I'm really connecting those dots as well, to be very honest with you. So I guess in that way, writing's always been a thing to kind of just release, to get out. And it's always felt great for me to like, you know, to feel whatever feelings it is and then to write and just to be able to put it on paper and just not even have to read it again, but just that process of just, you know, and I think the physical process as opposed to typing it out as well for me.
Yep.
Just
getting
doing
it
that
in the world, in the real tangible universe of it. Sure. Did you need any validation from anybody to take your writing from purely personal to out there, published, or even just that process? Like, did you need somebody to say, you know what, you're good at this, there's something in it?
Probably, but I don't remember too much of that. I do remember saying to myself at one point, and maybe this is just for anyone who's watching as well, like, I think there's always a point, and you've done it now. I remember talking to you, trying to big you up, because when you put your record out, you're just being like, bro, like, how many musicians are there who we can go our whole lives like playing other people's music and never put anything out on of ourselves? So when you put that out, I was like, respect, bro, because you've done it now.
Love, brother.
You've done it. You know what I'm saying? And the same with the books. It was just that thing of, I remember the first person I told that, I'm gonna put a book out. And for me, that was the moment of like, all right, you have to do it now. Because it's in my head, but now I've told someone, all right, you have to follow through, because otherwise I'd still have it on my computer now. Be like, oh yeah, like maybe I should, like maybe. But you know, just got to be like, all right, I'm doing it. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if it was more of like, it was a validation thing. I needed it on the way. It was just, all right, just do it and see what happens, and then take it from there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And you'd also put your name on it because you'd said, hey, this is something I'm going to do. Yeah. And now it's out there. I ain't no fool. Yeah. I gotta do the thing.
It's scary though.
Of course it's scary. So it should
and you know it now. You've released the music and it's like, you think it's great. You're like, yeah. But once it's out there, you don't know who's consuming it. You don't know what they think about it. Yeah. You don't know if there's some kid who's heard it and is like, oh my God, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. You don't know if there's someone out there who's like, oh, or it's like, or someone out there who's like, oh my, that sounds like my music. Like, you don't know.
Yeah, you don't.
So the moment you put it out there, it's I remember Malcolm Gladwell, sorry, he said it. It's like it's not yours anymore. Once you put it out there, it's kind of not yours. Yeah, it's for anyone else to decipher. They can listen to a track and be like, yeah, it's about this, and you're like, that's not what I thought.
I didn't get that.
From your perspective, if that's what it is. If that speaks to you and it works for you, all right, cool.
Cool. It's a fascinating one, that actually. To add to Malcolm Gladwell, if I could even, I would always suggest that it's never yours in the first place. And as instrumentalists, we are, for example, we're both saxophonists. The sax is the instrument, naturally. But then we're the instrument of, we have the ideas, but we're sort of channeling those ideas. Are their ideas our own? I don't want to take this conversation into too much of a crazy place.
No, why not? Come on.
I do find it fascinating because even when it comes to that notion, if it isn't actually ours,
Yeah.
we don't really have a right to hold on to it.
That's true. There was a TED talk. I remember, I've forgotten her name now, but she talked about this. I think it's called something about genius. It's called something like genius, something in the title, the TED talk. But she talks about this. I think it's the Greeks who talked about this idea of people, like no one's a genius, but people having a genius, as in this idea that there is something, this genius that will attach yourself to somebody in some ways. I'm probably butchering this, but that idea of like I have something which is which is letting me channel this thing. So I'm the vessel.
Yes.
For the genius, but you recognize me as the genius. It's like it's not me.
It's not me.
It's not actually me.
What did Michael Jackson? I think it was either Michael Jackson or Prince said this. I think you're familiar with this. Michael Jackson said, as soon as he gets an idea, one of the two, as soon as they get an idea, they have to release it, or in terms of a song that comes to mind, have to release it immediately, because Michael knew if he didn't, Prince was going to get it, and he was going to release it.
Yeah.
They tapped into something, and they are the vessel for this brilliant sound, but they have to get it out, because if I don't, I know somebody else will.
But and I think I think, and I don't know if you feel the same. I think it's a feeling of like, once you put something out there, like in my case, it was the first book, it's almost like, it's like the shackles are gone.
Yeah.
And it's like, actually, yes, it might have been difficult. It might have been this, but now it's there. Like, and the blueprint, I've done it. So I can do it again. I can do it again. I can do it again. Yeah. And you wonder why some of these men in the 40s, 50s, 60s releasing album after album, like every year, twice a year, sometimes it's bam, 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 bam. 1 take, 2 takes, like, no, it's just bam, I'm putting it out there.
Yeah.
Because I think at some point there's an energy that you get of like, all right, I've done it, and it wasn't a big deal. It is, but it wasn't, and I can go again, and I can put another one out, and I can just keep putting out music.
Just keep putting out music.
And you see as well, man, like another saxophonist, Dubai, Garcia, she puts out music all the time.
Yep.
And look where she is.
Yep. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, she's
respect.
Really pushing it forward for UK.
Yeah,
the
my
UK.
God,
She's
man.
doing bits. She's one I can say, you know what? Come on, wave the flag.
Oh my God.
Wave the flag for UK saxophonists.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I remember meeting her like years ago, like, just circles, whatever, that cool person, like whatever. And, just see what she's doing now. It's like doing a track with Esperanza Spalding, like stuff like I'm like, yes.
Big up yourself, Dubai. Big up
Come
yourself.
on.
Absolutely. When it comes to releasing music now, like you said, do it often. Now, when are you? This does obviously time date this conversation, but when are you releasing something next? I'm putting you on the spot.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's the truth. I don't know.
And I'm going to be fair to you. You, because you're not just doing the music, you're doing so many other things to then release the next album. That then it goes back to the question before in terms of balancing energy, because there are so many other avenues. So so you're not sure is the answer to that question?
No, I'm not sure. I reckon because I've got like a couple books, like one's probably like 75% done, another one's probably about 90% done.
Great.
But I don't know if I'm gonna go in that direction yet. I don't know. So the next thing might be music. Yep. Actually, it might be like my band. We might put something out. But yeah.
Let's see how that one goes. Well, all the best. Listen, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it, honestly. So when that project comes,
they're harder, bro. Come on, you know what it is.
Let me know. I'm here for it. Right. So so you've got a couple books in the making at the moment.
Yeah.
And what's important, actually, I appreciate you talking about, I guess, where the writing came from, because what you're not doing is you're not looking for what may be a good idea, and then I'm going to push that. What you're doing is you're essentially exposing who you are, and you are offering that. So the writing isn't, actually it'd be a good idea to write a book because that means I could get this, that, and the other. Like the motivation isn't sort of fame or recognition or anything like that. You've been writing, and that's already been a passion of yours. You've just now brought that into kind of your professional life. So the writing you've brought into, the music. When did you start playing the saxophone?
I was, what, 17?
It's relatively late in the game.
I was playing clarinet before, so
Okay.
you know, it's not the same, but it definitely made the transition like so much easier, like so much easier. Even just, I know I take care of Reed. You know what I'm saying? Even
sure.
just from that perspective, you know how it is. Like you start playing and you just like don't really understand how delicate it can be or whatever. You know. So yeah, that helped so much, so much.
When did you have your first gig?
What, professional?
No, your first gig. However you want to interpret that.
Well, if it's first gig, then I'm probably thinking about. I had a group. I used to play keys, in a group like with churches. I was probably in my I was in my teens for sure. And if you want to frame it like that, the first time someone probably messaged or called or whatever and was like, "Hey, like we love your trio. You come and perform here for us."
Yeah.
Like a church thing. Like, cool. So that's probably, I don't know, I couldn't tell you what it would have been, because the same three of us, we were in another group before. We started with that group when we were about 9, 10 years old, and that four of us to sing.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So after a few years, we kind of stopped singing. Two of the guys carried on singing, and then I went to keys, and so that's where it became the three of us. Just kind of doing that. So those were the first like kind of gigs of like getting asked to go somewhere and do something.
Yes.
You know, getting a little travel expense, but that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
just enough to get you by, but you're still happy to do it.
Oh, gas to do it. Gas to do it.
Of course.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. There's something about the church experience as a musician that is invaluable, and that's not going to apply to everybody, obviously.
Yeah.
But I find that when it comes to church, if you are a singer or you're a musician, you go to church, I implore you, get into the band, get into the music, get into that department. Because you are gigging every Sunday. You are at midweek rehearsals. You are learning from great musicians, and the regularity of that training. And if you go to a church where they're cutting, where the musicians aren't kind necessarily, where they're to the point, they're going to let you know. Let's say Sunday you're on the bass, but you're not quite cutting it this week. They'll take you off the bass mid-service. They'll replace you with somebody else. You won't see the stage again maybe for another 2-3 weeks. And in that time, you go and you learn, and you level up, and you level up. Then you get brought back to the stage, and it's a rinse and repeat. That process is really, in so many ways, it's invaluable. And I think that's why you see like artists, major artists, your Beyoncé's and all the relevant sort of musicians at the top of their game. Their bands, I mean, even Beyonce herself, like their bands and the artists generally, they start in church. And I'm not necessarily saying it's got anything to do with the spirituality of it. I'm not saying it's got anything to do with the belief system as such. It's more of the fact that there is regular meeting and regular playing, and that doesn't ever stop.
100%.
So you started in church as well, musically.
That is funny. That whole subject is something that I've been like dying to write about for a while. And I've written about it in a few little places here and there, but that whole idea of, calling it how gospel musicians learn. It's unbelievable. Like and the joke is it's free.
It's free.
That's the joke.
It's free.
It's free.
It's free. It's free. It's crazy.
It's probably, I'd say it's probably the best learning environment for a musician you could ever find.
I agree. I don't think there's a better one.
No.
I don't think there's a better one, honestly. No. And it would depend on the type of church you go to. And again, this is quite, obviously this part of the conversation, this is quite unique to Christians in church. This is quite unique to the church experience. So it won't necessarily be accessible for everybody unless you want to join a church and get a part of the music scene in good faith.
I've seen people do that. I've seen people who aren't believers or anything. Just be like, I've gone play church. Sometimes often them getting paid, but still, they're doing it because not just for the money, but also because they see the value in. I think for some of those guys and girls experiencing a culture that maybe they haven't come from. And so there's the interest, and then there's the whole other side of like the musicality side of it, of like learning something that's totally different to what they might have been brought up with. So yeah, I think one of the things I always wanted to write about is what lessons could we take from that model
Yeah.
and apply it to like mainstream education, not just music really, but just mainstream education like in general. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's so much of that. Yeah, so much in there. So rich.
There is, and like you said, even if you're not Christian, you could still very much just join a church and get involved. You know, that's a fascinating segue actually, because there are many different access points to becoming an artist, to becoming a musician. There aren't as many when it comes to once you've left that sort of tender age, maybe where you are in school and you know you're having music lessons every week. It's very geared towards music, and this actually also is something that I always wondered. I used to do youth work back in the day, and I'd speak to young people about a plethora of different things. And I would always try to talk to them about things that they wouldn't hear in school, because school is very much geared to some of the basic things. But when it comes to, you know, getting out there in the big bad world, you're kind of just left to figure it out. So even when it comes to music, sure, the church experience as a musician is second to none. I wouldn't be half the player I am if I wasn't on stage weekly at church. There's no comparison. But now when it comes to leaving those environments, the school environments where you've got after school club where you're making music, or maybe you have a band that has joined and made some music after school, but everyone's kind of gone in their own direction. Yeah. People fall in love, people get out there, you know, people do different things. They fall out of love with the instrument, whatever it is. Yeah. So now you have to own your kind of musical journey. No one's buffering it for you anymore. You've got to own that.
There's no one telling you where to go and what to do.
That doesn't exist anymore. But then also when we're talking about diversification, there is no signpost to say this is the time for you to pivot or add, you know, arrows to your quiver. This is the time for you to think about making another step, maybe going to do something else, you know, look at your other talents, your other skills, whatever it is, or learn something new. You remember that COVID time where they told us all to retrain? Thanks, America. British government. Cheers, guys. But and we didn't retrain, and I'm happy for not doing so.
We're here now.
We're here now, and it works. You know there you go. So when it comes to making that next step, what would you say is, when should somebody pivot if necessary, or add more things to their game? When should they do that?
It's whenever you feel like it. Like, I think pivoting is different from like upskilling. You know what I mean?
Upscaling, correct.
So,
upskilling.
You know, I think there's never a bad time to upskill. Like, never. No matter what it's in. If you want to upskill in AI, you want to upskill in, I don't know, accounting, whatever you want to do in it, like writing, whatever it is, podcasting. You know, it's never a bad time to do that. Like, do it whenever you feel like it, whenever you've got the time, the energy, you know, just start. Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
No, it's not an ad. We're not sponsored by any brands, but just do it.
No. NordVPN.
NordVPN. That's fantastic. Actually, you Surfshark. But so do you as well?
I don't see no adverts for them anymore, though.
Yeah, it's
like
true.
They've fallen off.
Or maybe they've got enough people. Do you know what I mean? They've made some money.
They're like, I'm good now.
We're keeping it. So okay, cool. Just do it now. There's not necessarily a right time to pivot or upskill, like you said. So a question to you: how important are things like social media, whether it be YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok? How important is it to use those as a musician, and what is the right way to use those platforms in your opinion?
You're talking to me as someone who's very bad at using social media. I feel like I'm terrible. Don't use it nowhere near as much as I could do.
I guess what that means is you then know exactly what the right thing to do is on it, because you're able to say, I'm not doing it correctly. So then what is correctly?
Correctly is like people that we know who use it all the time, like someone like Zoe, for example. Who's great at it because she's always
Zoe had a
post like all the time. I was asking the other day, I was like, can you just like tell me when to post? Because I feel like I should be, but I'm like, do people care about this? So yeah, there's definitely a lot to learn for me, and a lot of kind of getting over don't know if it's a fear thing, but of just been like, because you don't want to be a peacock. You know what I mean? You don't want to be like, look at me.
Yes.
That's not my personality anyway. So it feels weird to kind of, in most other areas of life, just happy to be like, yeah, I'm cool, and I'm doing my thing over here. If I have to be up front, I'll be up front. But then after that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm kind of, blending in, whatever.
Yeah.
To be on socials, just being like, hey, look at me, everybody. Like, that's not my personality.
No.
But at the same time, I think one thing I've learned about socials actually is that it's very easy to just put stuff out there into the ether, right? It's much more, I find much more effective if you're putting things out there and you understand the community that you're trying to reach.
Yes.
I think that makes all the difference for me, especially when I moved into more of education. So I realized very quickly, like years ago, I was trying to do a few different bits in education, but I didn't know anybody. You know what I mean? I didn't know where people were talking. I didn't know anything. So I was trying to do stuff, and maybe it reached a couple of people. I remember doing some like Facebook ads and stuff, trying to reach people, whatever. But just kind of throwing money out there and hoping that someone picks it up. Yeah. But now understanding like communities and understanding all that, it's like, all right, can be far more focused in if you're trying to reach a certain demographic, if you're trying to, get gigs or whatever, using like the right hashtags or even, I'm saying, that kind of stuff. It's not just putting stuff out there and just like, I'm just hoping. It's like, no, I'm putting it out there because I know I'm putting stuff in this shop window because I know the people who are coming past that particular shop.
Yes, exactly.
As opposed to just putting it out there in the world and hoping that someone, someone just like, oh, well, that's really interesting. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's targeted essentially. It's targeted.
Yeah, exactly. It's being intentional about. Yes, I've just, I don't know, shredded a Cannibal solo. Like, who do I want to see? Who do I want to see this? Yeah. You know what I mean? Is it my boy? I'll just drop it. I'll just like, yo, check this out, bruv. You know what I mean? I'll just drop you like, hey, check it out. And then you'd be like, yeah, thanks, bro. like, why are you?
Spent 2 hours on that.
yeah, that's thumbs up.
Delete that number.
yeah. The other was you delete it. You don't delete it from the chat, but it's deleted from your storage on your phone. So it's just a blurry square.
You know exactly what it is.
Yeah, I'm like, thanks, bro.
Thanks.
So it's like, you could do that, or you're on different forums of trying to reach other saxophone players for tips. Yeah. So all right, this is where saxophone players talk, can be posted in there. Yeah. Yeah. Or it's a wedding thing. All right, cool. Like, I know these hashtags to use, or I might tag somebody, you know what I mean? And I'm not even saying like I do that, I really don't, and I probably should. You know what I mean? But like, it's just understanding like where's the audience. Yeah. Because I think as the internet's kind of grown and as we've kind of gotten into we've got our own algorithm set up for us. Yes. So if, you need to be able to understand, like, if you're trying to reach person X, what are realistically they going to be checking out? And then how can I make sure my content is going to fit into what might filter into their algorithm? Yeah. You know what I mean? I think realistically, that's how you got to see those kind of things now.
There's a couple of things I'm encouraged by with you saying all this, because I know you and I are both in the same bracket. Like, I'm not great necessarily on Instagram.
Nah,
posting on social
I think you're better than me, bro. 100%.
I mean, I know how to take a video, but I know there's so many other people who are doing far better in terms of actually getting the engagement, posting often, posting cool things, like the way they gig. They've got a camera set up when they're performing. There's certain things that they've got into their routine and whatnot. And it works for them. Then you look at the engagement they have on their platform, and it works. Yeah. I find social media such a tricky one because like you said at the top of that point, I'm not really the kind of person to want to necessarily share all of these things all the time. Yeah. And we've got this juxtaposition because the platforms are used for so many different things by so many different people all the time, right? Yeah, so we're not necessarily using, or at least posting, because we just want to share things with our mates. We're posting because we're advertising our skills, and we're advertising what it is that we do. And we're saying, hey, look, this is what I do. Actually, I've definitely captured some moments of my life that I want to share because I have got friends on my socials. So it is about sharing my experiences, but it's also about, hey, there are so many different booking agents on these platforms. It's kind of about getting their attention as well. Yeah. And then and in the midst of all that, you've got the ultimate distractions that social media is.
Yeah.
Then you've got, you know, the part where I went on this thing to just, you know, maybe push this thing, and now I'm just doom scrolling and I'm stuck in this loop. And memes on One Piece, I watch One Piece religiously. It's a whole different story. The best anime ever written, ever told. It's a brilliant story.
You need to like educate me on the anime thing, because I've never got into it at all.
I will educate you on that. You don't sound like you have any available time to be dabbling in One Piece in the way that I have. But what I say is like it's all there, everything. Boom, 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 boom. So you scroll, and then 20 minutes passes, 30 minutes passes. You start to develop this love-hate relationship with social media, because it's important. You're gonna see this interview, this conversation most likely on some social media channel. So it works, but it's also a double-edged sword. So like, I think there's definitely a healthy relationship that we have to establish with it. And there are successful musicians who absolutely don't use social media, but they've been able to garner at least an audience and connections to the point where they don't need the platforms. You know, they're somewhat above it. So where you're concerned, what does give me encouragement, I guess, is the fact that self-professed, you're not great on social media. You're not always posting. You're not always putting things out there. But you indeed are very successful. You're making a lot of music. People are still getting in contact with you. And it's not just the music that we're talking about. It's all the other areas that you've diversified and your other things that you're involved in. So social media isn't the be-all and end-all by any means. It's not the be-all and end-all. Where else are you gaining your contacts, and how else are you getting in touch with people?
Oh, that's a good question. I think, and I think this is where, like, for me anyway, like the books and like my website and that kind of stuff, it goes further than you could ever go, because people will stumble across our website and then be like messaging and be like, hey, can we book you for something?
Great.
You know what I mean? Because I've put a lot of content on there over the years, and then obviously the books are out there too. So in some ways, all that kind of stuff does work for you, innit? Because it's out there, and then people have a conversation about something, and it's like, oh yeah, Nate, if you come across this stuff, cool. And then they might get in touch. They might not, or I might be somewhere, and then someone comes up to me, it's like, oh yeah, someone told me about you, or that kind of thing. So I think maybe I've become a bit lazy on that kind of on the socials, because you know, there's definitely an element of being in front of people, and then especially when you get into a community as well, and people know you, and you're part of the community. It's like, in some ways, you don't have to like keep telling, look what I do, because they know what you're about. So it's like, oh, it's like there's people who know what you do. So it's like, oh, if I need someone, I can call you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's it. Yeah. So like, I don't have to keep seeing your videos or whatever. I know what you do. So if there's something that comes up, I can be like, yo, bro, can you do it? I don't have to worry about it, because I know you can do it. It's calm. Yeah. I think it's the same thing applies. Like, there's stuff on socials. There's stuff on I was much more engaged on Twitter than I was on Instagram for a few years as well. So that's a whole other thing, where people I was talking to were on Twitter. They weren't on Instagram. Yeah. So that's a whole other big reason why I kind of stopped, you know, really thinking too much about Instagram, because that's not where people were that I was trying to reach. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So to pivot a little bit, what do you think about busking? What do I think about it? Oh man, busking is, every musician should do it. Yeah. Every musician should do it. Yeah. I think it's an important part of growing as a musician, to be honest. And what else? So you get growth from it. You get. I've busked for many years, many years, and I will always like wave the flag for it. It's an incredible thing. But I do want to get your ideas. Like, so it's growth because you're in front of strangers. Like, you set up your own stage. It's ballsy. Firstly, it's very ballsy. Yeah. You set up your own stage. What's the female equivalent to ballsy? I'm not even gonna think about that. You said you I'm trying to, you know, it's inclusive here. We're inclusive. Brave. Let's just go gender neutral. Brave.
it's brave. It is. You go out, you set up your holes, your amp, you set up your case, you put some pound coins in there, you have your socials and whatnot, and you just play. And you give it up to the universe to see what will happen. So yeah, you gain confidence from it. Absolutely. Yeah. Is it worth busking for anything other than confidence?
Mate, real talk, there's a period of time I was living in Germany and I have no money. So I would busk. And whatever I made was what I'd eaten with.
Wow.
Real talk.
Wow.
Real talk.
Wow.
I remember playing a place called Munkelbergstrasse in Hamburg. And that's like, that's the kind of the equivalent of Oxford Street, really, in Hamburg. And in a way. And yeah, I remember just setting up there and just being like, yo, I probably got about 10 euros in my bank account.
Wow.
Maybe I got like 20 euros cash lying around kind of here and there. But I was like, yo, I got my rent saved so I can pay that when it's time. But I was like, I need money. So it was just go out and busk, and whatever you make is like, all right, cool, I got 30 euros today. Or whatever it was. I remember it was cold them times too. It was like winter. So, it was like important.
Yeah.
Just to survive, bro.
Yeah, to live. Wow.
Just to survive.
Okay. So yeah, we're not just talking about gaining confidence. We're talking about sustaining oneself.
Just absolute sustenance, bro. Like that's
Wow.
what it was. That's what it was. It was not for a long time.
Okay.
But that's what it was for a minute. But it's just like, you got to do what you got to do.
It's real, bro.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah.
There's I got married a few years back, and I remember when we were young. So I got married really young. I mean, the relationship for many different reasons didn't necessarily last, so we ended up separating. But when we got married, I was my partner wasn't able to work. She had a lot of health issues, so she wasn't able necessarily to work in the same way that other people would, and she was a singer also. So I had to make money for the family. I had to make money for both of us, and it was a really tight situation because I was doing youth work and not making that much money doing youth work, and gigging every weekend, busking, playing as often as I could. Yeah. I needed to bring in more money. I needed to bring in more cash to survive. And a friend of mine, her name's Deborah Debs, fantastic singer, brilliant musician. I came to her and was speaking to her about, I've got to find ways to make a bit more money because I'm struggling here, and she, almost like an oracle, sort of said, people only sort of move when they're hungry. And if you're not hungry, your situation's not going to change. When your belly starts rumbling, do you know what I mean? When it starts to get real, I gotta make some decisions, gotta make some moves. And it was at that point, I then actually started to work with her, and we ended up looking at a career in IT that will go simultaneously with the music. Okay. So with her, we studied, we did a lot of things, got access to a lot of accreditations and things like that, and really just sort of blagged my way into IT. Actually, spent a lot of time learning it and coming up to speed with what a business analyst is and their involvement in software development and whatnot. Long story short, was able to make a bit more money doing that and continue doing the music. So yeah, with what you're saying with the busking, I completely, I can recognize moments where you actually have to do something. You have to get up. You can't cry about it. You can't be like, oh, I deserve something here. No. I heard a quote today from a mixed martial artist by the name of Kamaru Usman, a brilliant fighter. He said something along the lines of, he wants to remove the word deserve from the dictionary. So he doesn't feel that anybody deserves anything really. Yeah. It's like you can earn something and you can work your way up to be in a position to earn something, but deserve and to be given, these notions don't necessarily support one's own, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't necessarily support your own agency.
I wonder, because I think sometimes people can use that word deserve in a way which motivates them. Like maybe even coming from a place of jealousy, like I see person X doing this, now I deserve that. I deserve that. That's what I should be getting, so I'm going to go and get it.
Yeah, but you haven't earned that. But you haven't earned it. Person X.
What does it mean to earn something though?
Well, there we go. What does it mean to earn something? I would say I would put it this way. I did a gig a little while back with Usher. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I remember messaging you, bro, afterwards, just being like, bro, you're going on my CV now.
It was a pretty crazy experience, to be honest with you. And the way it came about was almost by chance. A friend of mine, Kenji Fenton,
Yeah.
I mean, the godfather.
Yeah, man, big up Kenji.
Big up Kenji. I got the wildest voice note from Kenji, the wildest voice note I've ever received from anybody in my life. How you doing, mate? Yeah, you know what? I've got this gig on the weekend, but I'm going to spend time with the missus. So I don't think I'm going to do it, but I think some Usher gig or something, and like he's on a boat somewhere. Do you want to do it? Are you available? I was like, what? What is my life that I'm getting a voice note like this? And so by chance, I got the call for this gig through Kenji just not being available because he'd rather go to the theatre with his wife. And his line was, "There's more than enough Usher to go around. So you go
More
have."
than enough Usher to go around.
So pick up yourself, mate. Absolutely big up yourself. So you know, that's how the gig comes about. And so we're on a boat. Usher does his gig in the O2 when he came down and toured.
Yeah.
Sells out the O2. There's a massive performance. You know, O2's gone crazy. He now has a private boat he's got going from the O2, so North Greenwich to Embankment. And there's a little club in Central, the Box, where he's going to go have his after party. So I've been booked to play his entertainment on the boat with various dancers and magicians and whatnot and DJs. And I'm sort of one of these people on the boat, very small boat with all of his entourage. Man, this is pretty intense. This is pretty insane. Like he's just walking past in his flipping dope jacket, looking like $1 million. I'm like, that's the king of R&B. And that's exactly what you should look like.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we do that, and then somebody on the boat, one of the managers, were like, "Hey, you know what? We've got a band at the Box where Usher's gonna have the rest of his after party. Just want to go on stage and jam with them." Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Just say yes, kids.
Just say yes. Yes. So, you know, we get the car from the boat, we go to the Box, now on stage with these guys. And obviously this all came out by chance because none of it was planned. So I didn't know, well, I knew some of the musicians, you know, it's a small industry in some respects. So I'd worked with some of the guys before. But when it came to it, you know, we're playing, we're performing, and Usher's just like, yeah, let me just jam. So he gets on stage, and now I'm stood next to the guy, and he's just there vibing, cool as ever, doing his thing and whatnot, and I'm here, and part of my head was saying, don't freak out, but the other part of my head was saying, but I'm not. There's almost like an anxiousness that was sort of, it wanted to come, like it wanted, like you should be anxious right now.
Yeah.
You're on stage with Usher. And don't get me wrong, I was like, this is like goosebumps, pinch me moment. But at the same time, I'm like, no, I don't feel too anxious about this. And I guess the reason I'm saying it's two reasons. One, the dude's poo probably smells like everybody else. It's like no one's special in that respect. We're all equal players in this life game. I'm not necessarily a believer in the idea that things will just be given to other people and others can never access it. I think we all have a fair shot at this thing. But then also, you know, we're talking about deserve and earned. Also, the years that I've spent busking and playing on the street and doing small gigs and traveling on a bus and to catch another bus, to catch a train, to catch another bus, to get to a gig, to then do the same journey, do you know what I mean? A 2-3 hour journey for a half an hour set with all of my stuff. Like all of those kind of things, like we've all done it, we've all been there. Like all of that grinding to just level up slowly. It's what then is earned is the blood, sweat and tears and effort and money spent and continual grind. Then that, I think, then the universe says, well, you've put enough water into this container, you've reached this level, here's a few things that you kind of get in this place. And can you maintain it? Here's a bigger thing. And the more you put into it, the more energy you put in, the more you get out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when it comes to earned versus deserved, I think earned is more apt, and that's just being avid and not stopping, I think. And when you keep doing that, you kind of level yourself up into a place where you're more likely to receive fun things.
I agree with you, man. I think there's, and I can't say for most, because I guess because it's obviously there's levels, right, to musicianship and whatnot. But I think sometimes there's a moment where, you know, maybe you're a kid and you see certain people playing and you're like, wow, that's incredible, and it is. Especially you at that point when you're struggling to pick up sticks or trying to figure out, you know, your guitar, whatever, your saxophone, whatever it is, and you see someone playing and you're like, wow, like I wish I could play that one day.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day you're like, actually, I think I could do that, you know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
then another day where it's like, yeah, I'd probably do that differently.
You know
what I mean? And I think sometimes we don't see our growth. It's like the way I see growth, especially with music, is it's like stairs. Mm-hmm. Because you know, you start off as a beginner and it's like the learning curve is strong. Mm-hmm. You can advance very quickly as a beginner, you know what I'm saying, from here to here very quickly. But then you often find is then it will level out for a minute where you feel like you're not progressing, and then all of a sudden, it happened to me, it probably happened to you too, you're practicing doing what you're doing, and then one day it's just like, oh yeah, I can do that now. You've kind of reached that next level. And so, but it keeps getting, but those plateaus keep getting longer the longer you play. You know what I mean? I find, for me anyway. And I think it gets to a point where you actually realize that professional level, you're there.
Yes.
There are other levels, you know what I'm saying? Other levels, but you get to that point now where you're on stage with Usher and you realize actually, and maybe that's what you're kind of speaking to. It's like, yes, Usher ranks because Usher and all that, but it's like, no, but I'm not here and everyone's looking at me like, why are you here?
Why are you here? Yeah, sure.
I'm here and you know, they heard you play on the boat and they're like, yeah, come jam. Because like, you've reached that level. And of course there are other guys and girls you can listen to and be like, oh my gosh, you're on a different level. But that level of you're a great professional musician. Yeah. You've reached that point, you know there's more to it, but you know, you hear a gig and you're like, you hear the horns and he's like, I can play that. Like, and I legit, like, yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, yeah.
And you realize you've, not like you've made it, but you've reached that level where anything that comes on that point, I think you deserve it. Because you put in the hard work.
It's a beautiful, there's a beautiful reality to that moment, because I know exactly what you're talking about. And that only comes, and that moment's earned. Because you put the work in, you put the tireless effort in, you played, you've run your scales, do you know what I mean? You spent hours and hours and hours and hours.
You deserve that.
Yes.
I think so. I think you deserve it. 100%.
When I started busking, when I first started playing the sax, I would play for about 6 to 8 hours a day. 6, 7 hours, 8 hours at a push. I'd go into the park, blow the horn. Do you know what I mean? I'd busk, just blow hours. Yeah. So in a very short space of time, I had played as many hours as somebody who's been playing the sax a lot longer than me. Yeah. But the frequency of time they're putting in wasn't quite the same. So when it comes to that point where actually those who I looked up to, I'm not having to look up anymore. Yeah. Because we're, do you know what I mean? Yeah. We're sort of here. And I know what you mean, actually learning songs. And that's actually a great thing to do. Go find an artist that you admire, find an artist that you love their work, and transcribe the hell out of their music. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And it's going to be difficult. And then at some point, it's not going to be difficult. And then at some point, like you said, and I love that, actually, you had to approach it like this. Because you're not just sort of looking at what they're doing anymore. You're understanding how they're doing it and why they're doing it. Yeah. You know, well, this is my flavor and this is my sound. Yeah. You know? I've got 2 more questions for you. First one is, what makes a musician likable and unlikable to work with?
To work with?
Yeah.
Not to play with?
Work with, to play with, to, make music with. If you're, let's say, for example, you want to get into the music game. Yeah. You want to get more into the industry. They say, this game's about not what you know, but who you know. That's not entirely true, but it helps. Yeah. In order to maintain those relationships with the who you knows, you sort of have to be cool.
Yeah, it's got to be cool.
What does that mean? For some people, just being black is cool. And I hate that because
why are you like this, bruv?
That's true. Some people like just being black alone is cool, but that doesn't really make any sense. Yeah. Doesn't make any sense. And it's not helpful to people who aren't black. Yeah, like, do you know what I mean? Like, what does that even mean? Yeah. So no, it's not necessary. That isn't cool. That's what I'm saying. I want to know what you think cool is. Because do you know what I mean? Like what? Wearing beads makes you cool, not necessarily. It's like beats.
I think I think it's social dynamics, isn't it? Really, it's like it's being able to read a room. I think pure and simple. It's being able to read a room. It's like it's knowing that, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example. It's knowing that if you're a person who swears a lot and you walk into a band where no one does, it's like, all right, I can either just be myself, and I don't discourage people from being themselves.
Sure.
You know, but you also have to understand that you yourself is not going to be everyone's flavor.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's people I'm sure like, yeah, Nate's not my thing. That's cool. You know what I mean? But it's understanding, I think, in that professional setting, like, if you're someone who, I don't even know, like, whatever, like, if you don't like bathing yourself, you know what I'm saying? And then you work with people who bathe themselves regularly, as you should, just saying, right? It's like, well, maybe not to fit in, but it's just reading the room. Who am I with?
Yeah.
Like, if everyone's quiet in a moment, and I start, and I'm playing my phone and I've got my ringtone loud or whatever, like, that's gonna annoy people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if you're a great musician. Sometimes, like, I've heard so many stories about, like, you know, guys getting drunk and girls getting drunk on the job.
Yep.
Again, it's like, you could be a great person, but, you know, cool, funny, all that kind of stuff, understand, but then it's just certain things. It's just reading the room. It's just understanding if everyone's tired, now's not the time to be shouting.
Yep.
You know, if everyone's hype, you know, if you're in a bad mood, you know, it's all right, you remove yourself. Like, it's just understanding. I think that's just what it's being cool.
Yeah.
It's just understanding the group dynamics and being able to fit in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if it's not for you to fit in, you know, then, you know, you've got to make that choice. Am I willing to bath myself to fit in with you lot or not?
You know, you can stay stank forever if you want.
That's your thing.
Am
I willing to iron my shirt?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or get my suit, like, make sure that I'm presentable to a gig or not.
Yeah.
You know, because we've worked with folks who maybe that's not a priority for them, which is fine. But it's just understanding that maybe the client or maybe the person who's leading the band is like, I need my musician to look a certain way.
Yep. Yep.
I think that's just what it is, because I think and I'm sure you know some great players, but maybe some of the things that they might do just means that it's difficult for people to work with them, to be on the road. You know how it is. You travel with people, and you do a gig. You do a gig like, you know, like Croatia. You're 90%, 99% of the time you're spending with people, it's not playing.
Yes,
it's
social.
It's sitting next to each other on the bus. It's sitting next to each other on the plane. It's all of that stuff. And if you're not cool to understand, yeah, it's 7 o'clock in the morning, so it's probably not the best thing to be a bit chatting in your ear. You know what I mean? Or it's late at night, whatever it is, it's just understanding, like, you know, it's just
Absolutely.
It's just knowing what it is and just kind of, being yourself, but also recognizing, just recognizing
what it is and where you are. And these things go both ways. So I'll give a little example. I did a gig in Lake Como for a function band. And I remember, now, it's important for the musician as well. It's important for you to make sure you're in an environment that you're comfortable to be in and you're happy to be in. 100% make sure that you are professional, sure. I mean, you'll see from watching these interviews, like, I'm very much myself. Like, I'm jokey, I'm like this, I'm like that, I'm all over the place. But I can be professional, absolutely. You know, I had good feedback from people I worked with. I can hold it down, but at the same time, I don't necessarily compromise certain things about myself. And I accept that what that means is I won't be able to work with some people. And that's okay. Do you know what I mean? It's fine. One more question for you, brother. What is the single, and I end all my interviews with this, all my conversations, what is the single most important opinion that you have of yourself?
The single most important. You should have asked me that before. I need time to think about this one. That's a really good question. The single most important opinion.
Wouldn't want you to have time to ruminate. Just let it go.
Mate, like my brain is going from professionally to like family
Whatever it means.
All of that. The most important opinion I have of myself. I don't even know how to answer that, mate. What's yours?
What's mine? I was having this conversation with Rob, and he said he had exactly the same response. He had exactly the same response, but I'm going to keep going until someone can answer it without a prompt. I approach music I think very differently to a lot of other people, and I do that, and it's taken me a while to actually accept that. I think I've always wanted other people's validation of my playing, so I've wanted to play and sound like other people, but I don't have the practice regime that other people have. My approach is different, the way I think is different, my interests are different, and what I want the sax to sound like and how I want to come across is different. So I can't play and sound like anybody else.
Yeah.
It's taken a while to accept that, because that's like a sort of, comes at loggerheads, like, oh, I want this, but I just square in a, square peg in a round hole, like it's just not fitting. So then the acceptance of the fact that actually my originality is me, and I love that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be different from everybody else, and I'm not gonna sound like anybody else, and I don't want to.
Yeah.
I want to continually be who I am, and just the originality of my sound, given the fact that it is so different from other horn players in my sort of sphere. Before, that was terrifying for me, because I'm like, am I gonna fit? Do you know what I mean? Am I ever gonna get good? Yeah. But actually, everything I am is what I am, and I love that. So I think one of the most valuable things I think of myself is I actually love and accept completely who I am in the music game, and sort of my skills and my sound. That's, I love that.
I like the answer. Yeah. So I learn from you I say all the time, like whenever we do like play together, I always learn from you, bro. I told you this. But
yes,
I do.
Very safe.
Every time.
Appreciate it.
And it's like, it's crazy, because now I can like play, do whatever. And it's not like I've got like drop the streaming on my shoulder. I feel like, no, do it like this, man. You know what I mean?
Straighten the back, boy.
But it's like it's there. It's just like it's you rub off, because I like what you do, and I'm like I've come from a different place. You come from a different place, and then so we can like meet, and I can play with you and be like, yeah, actually that's really like I've never really thought of it like this, or like maybe I can like take some of that approaches sometimes in some stuff I do and see how it works. Blah blah blah. I think. So trying to keep it in the professional realm, trying to answer your question, I think one of the things that I do value about myself a lot is, I guess, the diversity of thought, I think, and the curiosity. Even in terms of playing, I think, of just being like, there's so many different ways to approach this one thing. So you can approach it in different ways. Cool. Experiment. Try things. Yeah. Just you're used to playing this song this way all the time. All right, just switch it up. Yeah. This time you're gonna try this. Today on this gig you're gonna try this. Do that. You know what I mean? I think, and that applies for anything I've done really in the books or anything like that. It's just that idea of there's so many ideas, like so many connections to draw between this and this and this and this and this and this. Just like try it and see what happens. Yeah. I think that's, if I say that's something that I do value about myself, is that, I make connections to things, have ideas, and then try it. And sometimes it flops. Most of the time it flops. And most of the time you start writing and it's like, no, I don't feel like this is going anywhere actually. You know what I mean? We start playing and it's like, there's this phrase or there's this idea, like, let's try it. It doesn't work. Try it again. And then eventually,
he almost ran on the other side of the camera and then was like,
nah. You know there was just like, bruh. If you can see where we are, we're against the bank here. There's a whole area.
There's so much space. Jeez. That was incredible.
We're trying to get their 15 minutes of fame, you know what I'm saying? He's hoping we're big influencers. You know what I'm saying?
Should have just got your picture, your face in there. Should have sat down
hoping he's going to get tagged.
Oh, gosh. I'm gutted that he cut you off, because I appreciate what you say. I did. But it's a diversity of thought and just, you're willing to just put it in. You're willing to just keep messing around, playing with something, change, see what's up.
You know what I was saying to my missus the other day? I was like, when you actually deep life, bro. Listen, I'm about to get deep. You deep life. I was, I've become much more politically engaged over the last 2-3 years. So I'm constantly like watching, sometimes I'll watch like Prime Minister's questions, like analysis and whatever it is. Like sometimes I'll just get into it, just trying to understand. And the other day I was watching, it was some interview, some debate or whatever, and people just like, shouting at each other. I think it was about Gaza and Israel and Iran and all this stuff. I just remember like looking at it and just thinking, we were all children once. We were all children once. Like every single person in this earth was a child once, just innocent, happy, like, go to the park, I have no friends here. Oh, do you want to be my friend? I don't care what you look like, who you are.
Yeah.
Let's just play together. Yeah. And then you forget about them. You know what I mean? On to the next.
Yeah.
Just learning and growing. And I'm watching these often grown men shouting at each other, and you just think, but fundamentally, we all just want to sleep well at night. We all want our families to be safe and comfortable and happy. Like, there's enough resources in this world. Why can't we just do that?
Yeah. What happened between skipping, gaily as a child to now?
Yeah. What happened? And just on that train of thought, for me, it's just that thing of like, well, that child is still in me. That child who wants to explore and try new things, and as a saxophonist, as a musician, just curious about different sounds and whatnot. End of the day, at some point, we're not going to be here.
Yeah.
So it's like just the stuff that you want to put it out there because it might flop, sure, and most probably it will. Not because I'm being pessimistic, but just the reality of what it is.
Yeah.
But fundamentally, if you want to write a book, and the aim is to write a book, not to sell millions of copies, you write a book, you've achieved. You've done it.
Mission accomplished.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're putting like, I have to sell X amount of copies for me to feel good, that's another thing. And you might get there, and I hope you do, if you do. You know what I mean? But it's just like put stuff out there and just enjoy that process of just creating, putting it out there, flopping, being your feelings, and then go again. You know what I mean? Because there's too much in this world for us to enjoy and to love that we can't end up being old men, old women, old people. You know what I mean? Just shouting at each other like, "Oh, you should." It's like, no, let's just come on.
Yeah.
If I think they should sing before in a parliament every session or whatever, sing a song together.
This is a low-key callback to the podcast we did many moons ago.
Probably, yeah.
We were talking about just blasting some Louis Armstrong or Cannonball Adderley over a wall.
Yeah, man. Get everyone singing Hey Jude in Parliament, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Do you know what the wickedest thing is, bro? You say that,
every little thing's going to be all right.
They probably do just before they press the button. Do you know what I mean? Like, look at who was in charge? Boris? At the time, where he just stay at home. Don't leave your house. You're gonna infect your mother, your father. You're gonna kill your grandparents. And as soon as they pressed stop on the record, they did start singing.
Yeah.
But they had a party.
Yeah.
At
They had a
bloody
party.
expense.
Yeah.
The point you make is
unreal.
fundamentally sound. The point you make is sound. But I'm just gonna put this out there. I appreciate you, brother.
Bro,
thank you for your time.
Love, bro. No doubt.
As always.
Always.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm messing up your audio.
Mash up my run-ins in the blood clot.
I'm so sorry. But yeah, people, just do your thing. Just failure, and that's the thing about busking. You know what I mean? The first time you do it and you're like, oh my gosh, like you're expecting to get all this money or whatever, and the first person who walks past you doesn't even register. It's devastating. Like I was doing it, sorry, I'm going off I was doing this job. I was working for some charity and on the street. Canvassing, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
trying to get people to sign up for £15 a month.
Painful.
That first day, I just wanted the earth to swallow me up. But then you get to a point where you're like, it's fine. Like, I'm trying to get something from you. You don't want to give it.
Cool.
Okay, then move on.
Yeah, like it's okay.
The rejection means nothing. Same with music. Like, you make a mistake, you put a record out there. I remember this one girl, Isabella Burnham. Like, you Google her, like, she's great. Bass player. Like upright and electric. And then she told me this once, she said, she's going to put out an EP. And we were talking, I was like, yeah, if you're ready and all that kind of stuff. You know, the conversations we have, like, oh, mate, I'll just practice for another 6 months. And then you know what I mean?
I'll eventually do it
But
at some point.
yeah, but she just told me, and it's never going to leave me for the rest of my life. And I always try and share it as much as I can. She just said, like, I'll put it out there. It's just a snapshot of where I am right now.
Great.
That's what it is.
Yep.
And in 10 years' time, she'll look back on it and be like, I'm somewhere else now.
Yeah.
But it's just, in 2025, this is what I sounded like. This is what was going on in my head. It was going on in my heart. And I put it on a record.
Yeah.
2026, it might be totally different. But I've put it out. I've preserved that forever. That's all it is.
Amazing. Amazing. Hey, that's a wonderful note to leave.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, brother.
Respect.
Appreciate you.
Love, bro.
Let's go. I can't believe that you just walked. And the indecision, he was almost going to walk
No,
over.
you know what it was? I'm trying my foot. I'm like, I could run into all this open space.
Open space.
But I'm just gonna, this narrow gap. I'm just gonna fast up myself and.
Oh my goodness.
And
that
you
was
see,
incredible.
he got here, and then he kind of like turned back again, like
like
looking like, what's the reaction?
I know.
I should have got up and just dusted off.